You're listening to Nick Luck Daily. This edition is brought to you by Timeform, your trusted source for racing data and analysis. By Total Performance Data, the global leader in live horse racing data. This edition is also brought to you by FitzDares, laying some of the world's largest sporting wagers since 1882. Good morning. Welcome to a glorious Ascot racecourse. Not a cloud in the sky as we welcome you to the Nick Luck Daily podcast on Friday, the 19th of June, day 4 of the Royal meeting. It's going to be a scorcher as I welcome in David Yates, resplendent in silk topper and with antique cane
Trusty
cane at hand. And if there were any danger, David, of flagging by this fourth day of the week, we were energised, surely, by that epic tussle yesterday between Scandinavia and Trawlerman that had everybody talking as they left the racecourse.
It was gladiatorial, wasn't it? In the heat, it was amazing. What really pleased me, and I'm sure pleased lots of people, was the sort of serendipitous, if that's the right word, happening of the 100th Royal Ascot victory in the Gold Cup.
For Aidan O'Brien. 100th Ascot victory for Aidan O'Brien in that prestigious race.
The Ladies' Day feature, which he's won 10 times, and I think to give Godolphin and Sheikh Mohammed their credit for the initial resurgence of the staying division, which they supported really strongly, and of course Aidan O'Brien has continued that. When I got into horse racing in the mid-1980s, the staying division was really just dying on its feet, and now it's such an entertaining and strong division, isn't it? And for him to win that, it was great that it wasn't in one of the lesser races, that it was in the Gold Cup was so fitting, and it was an absolutely stirring race, wasn't it? The fact that the two of them just fought tooth and nail for 2 furlongs, a furlong and a half. They motored 9 lengths clear of dear old Sweet William in third, and it was a really, again, it was a wonderful occasion to watch and to write about, to broadcast about.
Yes, it probably didn't take you long to knock up your copy after that. 100 wins then at Royal Ascot for Aidan O'Brien, 10 Gold Cups, as you were saying. You had O'Brien versus Gosden, which is becoming a nice little theme in these big races. Buick versus Moore, Godolphin versus Coolmore, the old boy Trawlerman with his goggles on the way to the start, first round of the season against the young buck in Scandinavia. All those sporting ingredients.
Yeah, I mean, that was the other thing, I think, that did that usher in a new era in the stayers division with the 4-year-old Scandinavia versus, he's half the age of Trawlerman. Now, of course, if John Gosden is listening to this podcast, which of course he will be, he'll say, well, absolute nonsense. We didn't have a run and we lost out by a head. So let's not have any talk about the king is dead, long live the king. But you see where I'm going with this. You know, we had the likes of Sweet William, 7, Trawlerman, 8.
And no 9-year-olds ever won the Gold Cup, so...
And coming into it, we had Scandinavia, we had Rahib, who was a bit disappointing, but it was I thought an element of that a new era was being ushered in yesterday.
Some good quotes this week which have managed to rile people sufficiently. John Gosden saying something about, what was it, Ombudsman's too good to run over a mile and a half a couple of days ago, managed to light the touch paper, and then yesterday he was busy, quite rightly, saying how great the staying division is when it's like that. Ryan Moore to Rishi Persad, first answer off the bat yesterday when Rishi bowled him one up. I should have won easier.
Yes, I chose not to use that.
Because he said Ashin had taken his ground, didn't he, on Caballo de Mar. And then what was the other one? Aidan won't really care, he'll just be looking to the next 100, and that's probably the one that holds the most water.
Yeah, that's probably true, isn't it? I mean, every time you talk to Aidan O'Brien about totals, you sort of know the responses you're going to get, don't you? And you and I have talked to Aidan O'Brien about totals for quite a long time now. They're clearly, or they're evidently things that don't really. I'm sure the races, the victories. He said, that this gives me huge satisfaction on behalf of everyone at Ballydoyle, everyone who works and puts the effort into producing these horses. Of course, that will give him enormous satisfaction and pleasure. The idea that it's 100 instead of 99, maybe not. Certainly, if I were in that position, I've always thought like totals numbers are pretty irrelevant, really. But of course, they're not to the media.
No, exactly that. Elsewhere, it was a terrific day as well. One of the chief supporting races was the Ribblesdale Stakes. Good finish as well. James Doyle winning that for Watnan on their newly acquired Earthshot for William Haggas. Now, Haggas has only had a couple of winners so far this week. I say only.
Yeah.
He'll be happy with that. But the best may yet be to come, because he is absolutely loaded the last 2 days, particularly on Saturday. And we are going to try and give him a call now, because he had 3,000 winners earlier in the week, which he, again, you talk about numbers, he was deflecting that yesterday. Matt made a big play of it on the show yesterday, and Haggas didn't want to make a big deal of it yesterday afternoon, but that takes a bit of doing.
Yeah, it really does. Lake Forest has got stall 1, hasn't he, in the Queen Elizabeth II Jubilee Stakes. So William Haggas will be hoping. I walked to the pre-parade with him yesterday, and I said, I need to talk to you about Lake Forest. He said the draw compromised his chance. He didn't seem that effusive, but I did remind him that on this day last year, the draw flipped.
Look, there he is. Look, David.
There he is. Hello,
there
William.
he is, live on the Nick Luck Daily podcast. William Haggas, looking very relaxed this morning, William. I don't know I hope you're feeling suitably relaxed.
Yeah, very good. Yeah.
Excellent.
Thank you.
So 3 days down, two winners, a 1-3-4 from 3 runners in a handicap, plus that wonderful victory for Earthshot yesterday. What sort of mood is the yard in?
Good. Happy to have a winner at Ascot. So the fact that we've had 2 is great.
Because
we sort of always felt that Saturday was our big day.
Well, so if you've got 2 in the bag already, that's good. Reflections on Earthshot yesterday. Where do you think we're gonna see her landing up?
Well, she's won a Group 2 now, and she's in the Irish Oak. So I think if she recovers well from this race, why not? That would be my view. You know, it's probably the last race she can run in for a while against the same age group, and obviously, you know, it's up to Group 1 now, so she's got to have a go. So I would think the Yorkshire Oaks.
Okay, so Irish Oaks and then Yorkshire Oaks for her?
Sorry,
or both?
Irish Oaks next.
Yeah. And then the Yorkshire Oaks would be a natural follow-up from that, wouldn't it?
Well, she'll go in it, yeah. She'll go in it.
Okay.
Maybe the Watnan after Ascot, they're very keen on Goodwood, so maybe she'll get an entry in the Lily Langtree even, because she looks like she'll stay.
Now, as far as the potential you think she has, you're talking about Group 1 entries. Do you think she can do better still than she did yesterday? Do you think she's a filly that is likely to make significant improvement?
Interesting. I don't know whether she'll make significant improvement. I've always felt she'll like cut in the ground. So we haven't encountered that this spring at all and summer. I think she'll be better with cut. She ran very well at Newbury with cut in the ground, and we always felt that. She stayed well yesterday. She did really well to win. I know the leader may have been pulling up, but she did very well to win. So yeah, I think she's got more to go, I hope.
What are your reflections on the meeting as a whole so far, as an observer as well as a participant?
Oh no, I think it's been great. It's every person you speak to is pleased to be there. I think the fact that we have a few international people come and enjoy the racing, the buzz is great. There's been some wonderful racing. I mean, the Gold Cup yesterday was a race for the ages. They'll be talking about that. I think there are not many of us left who can remember Postino and Grundy live, but that was a similar race, and it was masterful. A great training performance by John to have that horse ready to go after all that time off with all his issues, and a masterful ride. I mean, William gave his a masterful ride too, but Ryan just got there. It was a fabulous race, really fabulous.
Yeah, loved it, and we've just been reflecting on it here, and I think everybody left really buzzing yesterday. It is going to be a very hot day today, and probably even hotter tomorrow. How does that augur for your team? And it looks really strong Saturday as well.
Yeah, I'm sort of ignoring the fact that it's going to be very quick, and so we've got horses in the races that we want to run in, and they're going to run. So It's going to be hot. It makes it unpleasant for overweight people like me. But it'll be hot and sweaty, but it's much better hot and sweaty than pouring with rain. So it'll be a fun day. It's been a great week so far. Not for us, but just the racing in general has been of great quality, and it would be. I know we've got a runner in the Duke of Edinburgh, but if Their Majesties could have a winner today too, that would just cap it off before tomorrow.
Okay. Probably too many to mention every horse you run over the next couple of days, but I know Sabre Strike's one you're massively excited about in the Jersey. Has he ticked over nicely?
Yeah, I'm massively excited is a bit of the wrong expression. I'm now rather tense because he's always been the one that we felt had the best chance of the week, and that colleague of yours, Mr. Chapman, never stops talking about him, telling everyone, so he'll probably get stuffed, which is what usually happens to these good things. But we've chances in a few races tomorrow, so it's great to be pitching in at that level with some horses of good quality.
Has the draw done for Lake Forest, or are you hopeful it could all turn around?
I remember years and years ago we won the Wokingham from the far side, and they'd been winning the stand side all week, and I was complaining to Chris Stickles vehemently that he didn't have a clue what he was doing, and then Ryan won on high standing right on the far rail, so who knows what's going to happen, but it wouldn't have been a draw I'd have picked if I'd had the choice. But we've got the Australian horses in single figures, so at 7 and 9, so we've got a chance. I think Overpass will probably be handy, so we'll see.
But Bin Haria has got the draw in the Wokingham.
Well,
or possibly. Who knows?
Probably won't. Hang on 1 minute. Take him in. Sorry, Bin Haria. Yes, 22's good. Excellent.
And good chance? Good chance?
Yeah, I've always said he wants cutting the ground, but he's a pretty good horse. He wouldn't have been out of place in the Queen Elizabeth Stakes.
Ooh.
So he'll be going, I think, up to stakes class next time.
Okay, and let's hope
it's the Wokingham, Nick, and the Wokingham's not a straightforward race.
No, you kind of need a stakes horse these days, probably, to win the race anyway. And then I know Realign and Almarac, horses with decent chances as well. Today, you were very sweet on Division when I came round last week.
Yeah, I don't like his draw though. 3, that's probably not a very good draw. We've got Clive Cox's horse in around us. I can't remember. I think he might be in 2, and he goes forward. We just need pace and jockeys to believe that they can win from the far side. As you say, it will change because it does every year. I think Ed Walker won the Sandringham down the far side last year, so I think I'm hoping today. I love the horse, and I think he needs to be given a chance so James can decide what to do, and hopefully he'll shape up.
All right, William. Well, 3,000 winners and counting. Royal Ascot winners 2 and counting this week. A trip in the Royal Procession as well. Could be a Carlsberg did week's job, couldn't it?
It's been a great week so far.
All right. Thanks for your time this morning.
Thanks, Nick. See you.
That's William Haggas. I think he's a man on pretty good terms with himself, David.
Yes. Well, I mean, if you have a couple of winners at this meeting over the first 3 days, you'd be a hard crowd to please, wouldn't you? If you weren't happy with that.
Oh, for sure. But if you train a very powerful stable and you're chucking 20 plus runners at the meeting, there is a sort of not a number in your head, and everyone says, well, one will do fine.
Yeah, which we all know is bull, don't we?
If it was one handicap for the week, they'd be like,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was we go. We go to all these big festivals, and you go to the trainers. I don't know why people even ask this question anymore, because they always say, well, 1 is what we want. Come on, if you leave it with one winner at the end of this fixture, being at Cheltenham, Aintree, Royal Ascot, wherever it might be, you will have a face as long as a fiddle. That was one thing that... doing a piece with Billy Loughnan in the build-up to this week, he said, yeah, 1 would be a disappointment. Bo Echo would be great, but I'd like more than that. And I think, that's That's what we're after. And so you're absolutely right. We live in this era in British racing of, the sort of the super trainer, the really big yards, and they throw lots and lots of horses at meetings like this. However, there are plenty of them that are sitting in Newmarket who would think, well, yeah, we wouldn't mind too. So I think if you run as many horses as those stables do, of course there are going to be disappointments. But in the Ribblesdale winner, there are some real reasons to be cheerful with her, aren't there? There's the fact that she was a Wathnam Racing purchase from Goodwood and has hit the bullseye with her first start, and now she's going up to Group 1 company, and she's only had 4 races.
And if you want extra on the Wathnam runners all week, of course, I hope you've been tuning into our special mini pods for Wathnam Racing. We've been doing in association with them, which has got all the trainers' quotes from all the horses in the lead up to the meeting. Hopefully that's been informative for you, and they got plenty of runners today. And a bit like William Haggas, they're very well stacked tomorrow. Joseph O'Brien. Well, it's hardly as though he's been a revelation. The guy is clearly a ridiculously good trainer.
Yeah.
We've seen that for a decade now. But he has got 4 and counting, and it's going to be a Joseph Aiden shootout for the trainers' title, which is quite something.
The standings last night said it was 4 wins and 3 seconds apiece.
Yeah.
So they're absolutely tied at the top. So, yeah, it's. It was funny because I think Tom Siegel of the Racing Post earlier this week said that he saw the biggest threat to Aiden coming from Joseph, and that Joseph could get to his father's levels. And there were a few catcalls, weren't there, when Tom said that? But this week, he's and yesterday, he actually was a head and half a length away from 2 more. Wasn't he?
Yeah.
In the opener.
I know. I was talking to Kevin Blake, and I know they were disappointed not to win the Ribblesdale.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if he's going to pick up a FaceTime this morning. He might do.
Let's see.
We might have to try later. He normally. Yes, there he is. Look at that, on cue. Good morning, Joseph. How are you doing?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, very well, very well. We were just reflecting here on the podcast on how well the week was going. 4 winners and counting. I was just saying, I bumped into Kevin last night, and he's like, should have won the Ribblesdale. I thought, well, you're having a good week if that's the way you're looking at it.
Yeah, no, they've run fantastic, and very proud of all the horses and the people at home, and so delighted for all of our owners. And there's a bit of racing left to do, so hopefully we can finish off the week strong again.
What's given you the biggest kick so far? Which one have you enjoyed the most?
Sure, I suppose Nick winning the first one is the first winner of the week is always special, because it's hard to win any race here. So just to get on the board and have 1 winner was fantastic. And then I suppose they ran great. But Limestone was our shortest price of the week, and he was one of our more fancied runners. So it was fantastic for him to win. And then obviously we had a great day yesterday as well. So but yeah, listen, it's just, I suppose on day 1 when they all ran very well, you know then that the horses are in pretty good shape, and that hopefully they can run their races all through the week, and wherever that leaves you, that leaves you.
And listen, it's not like you haven't had Royal Ascot success before, but I know last year you had loads run well and left empty-handed. To what extent did you resolve to sort of target races more specifically this time round?
Yeah, like we always target Royal Ascot, as everyone does, and but like it's such a tough place to come, and you can come here with the whole year being worked towards Ascot, and something can go wrong on the day, very small, that has a big impact on your results. So things have fallen into place a bit for us this week, and we're making the most of that and enjoying that. But everybody and we do. There's no point hiding. We work towards Royal Ascot as a real target meeting. And it's somewhere that we want to compete, win, and somewhere that we want to be able to take, as many of our owners as possible.
Yeah, and I was going to pick up on that. I mean, to what extent is the fact that you're a very international yard, you've got a lot of American owners, a lot of Australian owners, a lot of owners from the Middle East, to what extent is that kind of aspirational side of it and them needing to be here a big driver in that?
Yeah, I think that's for everyone, Nick. No matter where our people are from, Royal Ascot is undoubtedly, the most special week of the year, and it's somewhere that you have to compete and you have to win, and you have to be, and we've plenty of runners here this week, and some of them are long shots, but their ownership are all having fantastic times, and they're kind of living their dream in a way as we are. So we're always keen to run horses here, take our shot, and then work back towards next year again if we can.
And Dave was just saying the scores on the doors at the moment are Aidan O'Brien 4 winners and 2 seconds, Joseph O'Brien 4 winners and 2 seconds. Could this go right down to the wire? Have you even thought about it going right down to the wire?
No, I haven't. I think today might be a pretty good day for that. So, and we only have, it's our lightest runner, our lightest day numerically. So, no, the horses have run great, Nick, and that's all you could ask for. Didn't think in our wildest dreams that we could be, in a competitive position at this stage of the week. But just delighted to be there and delighted to be here.
Right, you've got more chances though. I know you have. I quite fancy Emit today, but I know Omni-Man's a horse that you quite like. Who do you prefer?
Yeah, but both of them, Nick, have been targeted at the race. Omni-Man ran very well here last year before he won at Goodwood. He's drawn in, which, what they tell you isn't good. Emit is drawn out a bit, and he's a horse that drops down to the 1.5 miles. But Ryan rode him earlier in the season, and he said he thinks that would be suitable. So, I think they're 2 live shouts. I think of the staying handicaps of the week, that looks a super competitive one, in particular. So, we'll see what happens.
And tomorrow, lots of good chances as well. Is there any horse you think that has got a particularly good shot on Saturday?
I think Andab has a good chance in the Jersey. Like, that was a really strong race in Sandown that he ran in last time, and he gets the first time visor, so he's a live one on Saturday. And then we have 2 in the Golden Gates, Neil Buagondua and Perisher. I think they're both in with live shouts as well.
Did Dylan choose Neil Buagondua?
He did. Yeah, he's
and he's twice the price of Perisher.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's a pretty nice horse, I think, Nick. Yeah.
Yeah, and then a piece of heaven in the Queen Alex. Well, one thing you know, he's going to keep going.
Yeah, he stays very well, and he's very fit, and he loves fast ground. And they're 3 good attributes if you're going to go nearly 2 miles 6 in Ascot. So, and he's an older horse, seasoned horse, but William Mullins has a couple of sneaky ones in there as well.
Yeah, I've got the feeling we've got to the point where there's nothing sneaky about Willie Mullins anymore.
That's true.
Whether they come from Poland or not. Joseph, thanks for your time. Glad to see you smiling, so you should be. Cheers, we'll speak to you later.
Thanks, Nick.
Take care, bye. Yeah, he's on good form as well. It's always good when you get to day 4 to ring the people you know are going to be happy.
Omni-Man's very interesting.
Yeah,
in the Duke of Edinburgh,
he's been eye-catching.
Yeah.
But I think Emit's been quite eye-catching as well.
I just thought that, he's got one sort of marquee British summer flat racing festival handicap in the bag. He won at the Qatar Goodwood Festival last year. He's been kept to 1 mile and 10, hasn't he? And I think that back up to 1 mile, back into handicaps, I think today could be the day for him. You wouldn't have chosen stall 4, would you? But you can't have everything.
Okay. We're going to get some more detailed reflections on some of yesterday's action in a few moments' time. But I want to head out and about now, because yesterday was Ladies' Day, it was Gold Cup Day, it was the day when the fashions come to the fore, and Lisa Tan caught up with the First Lady of Australian racing.
I'm thrilled to be joined by Australia's First Lady of Racing, and I'd like to say First Lady of Racing Fashion, because Gay Waterhouse, your looks have been legendary over the years. And please, can you tell me about today's outfit?
Oh, Lisa, you're very sweet. Well, I was watching the television with my 2 granddaughters, and I saw on Emily in Paris this outfit, and I said to them, gosh, that's cute. So we did some photos and sent it to a marvellous lady in Melbourne called Vicky T. And she's creative.
It is fabulous.
Thank you.
And the matching hat, obviously, as well.
The hat, of course, is Neil Grigg, who, of course, designs in Sydney. Is yours?
My hat is by me, actually. I'm a milliner here, so
yeah. You are. Well, that's beautiful.
But originally from Australia, so yes, you're right.
That was a good little plug.
You're here. Are you here a week?
We're here all week. I'm here with Emma Colden and my husband, Rob. Rob's bookmaking out the front at present. And of course, we've got the joy of catching up with Nick Luck the other day and all his friends that are racing these horses.
Oh, he has a lot of those. Oh, I've heard about this. The horse that he's bought with you when he was in Australia for the Magic Millions. Three horses.
2 fillies, very smart fillies, one by Hellbent and the other by Russian Revolution, both very, very serious sires in Australia. And the third one by Coronation, who of course raced here at Royal Ascot.
Absolutely. And any chance of those horses getting to the track anytime soon?
Talk about soon, very soon.
Oh, excellent. Great to hear. And what are you wearing for the rest of the week?
Well, that's going to be a surprise. You'll have to turn up tomorrow.
Oh, I will be. I'll be here to see it. But how do you plan your racing wardrobe? Because you're such a busy woman. You have a full-time job looking after the horses, making sure they do what they need to. How do you keep yourself looking so fabulous all the time?
I think very much ahead. And I plan ahead. That's what I do. It's telephone call.
See, busy woman.
Just
exactly.
Turn that off. No, for a moment. We'll turn that off just for the moment. But I plan ahead. So I look 6 months ahead. Okay. And when I go overseas, when I've got more time with Rob, I'll do a little shopping. And then I'll put it aside. And I say to him, is this, Royal Ascot or is this Magic Millions?
Oh.
Or Derby Day in Melbourne. I always sort of think of those meetings, how I'm going to dress.
Excellent. And what would be your favourite meeting to dress for?
Oh, well, this is a very special... I mean, you can't wear these clothes very, very seldom in Australia. Maybe in Melbourne, over the Melbourne Cup period, you'd be able to wear. But we don't dress up as much in Sydney or Brisbane, and it's quite a shame because, people, girls in particular, I think boys also love to dress up.
I agree with that as well. And I guess the boys have to dress up to the nth degree here because it's part of the dress code. Do you like the morning suit?
I do. I think it's something very special. It adds to the specialness of Ascot. Ascot, there's nothing like it anywhere in the world. And I've been to the Kentucky Derby. I've been to Japan, to the major meetings there. We've been all over the world. Nothing is like Royal Ascot.
Any chance of you having a runner here anytime soon?
Oh, I think very soon.
Excellent. Well, I'll let you get on with your day since you're such a busy woman and we can't wait to see you back here with a runner in tow.
Lovely to hear from the great Gay Waterhouse there with Lisa Tan. More from Lisa a little later on. More reflections now on yesterday's Gold Cup. We'll be hearing what the numbers stacked up as time-wise with total performance data's Adam Mills in a moment. But what about looking at this through the Timeform lens? Just what was the merit of Scandinavia's win? Here is the flat editor for Timeform, David Johnson.
Hi Nick, bringing you all the Timeform news from day 3 at Royal Ascot. We obviously had the Gold Cup taking centre stage, Trawlerman, last year's winner, taking on the pretender Scandinavia. Now I'm going to hark back to 90s wrestling legend Ric Flair. That's perhaps the first time he's ever made a mention on this podcast, but he had a great phrase and he said, to be the man, you have to beat the man. And that's exactly what we got in a really enthralling running of the Gold Cup. Trawlerman very much going out on his shield, but unable to hold off his younger rival in Scandinavia. Both of the horses running to a Timeform rating of 127. That's Trawlerman still at his best as an 8-year-old, deserving particular credit to be able to do that, obviously given his interrupted and strange preparation. But in Scandinavia, he just met that younger, less exposed, hungrier rival that just got the job done. And it's a case of where does that horse go now? Obviously, the cup races tend to plan themselves. I'd imagine he'll go to Goodwood. He won that race last year, didn't he? And where does he stand in terms of O'Brien's best stayers? He's still got a little bit to go to catch up with Kyprios, 131. Septimus, Irish St Ledger winner on soft ground, 129. And Yates, 128. Even Order of St George, he was 129. So he's not there yet. But as a 4-year-old, he's still got that opportunity as well. And obviously going on softer ground, that might enable him to run in races where they get more strung out. And we look forward to seeing him as the season goes on. But in terms of the stars of day 3, it was definitely Trawlerman and the young pretender taking his crown, Scandinavia.
That was David Johnson, flat editor from Timeform. And while we are in this segment of the show, crunching the numbers, let's head to Adam Mills from TPD.
The Gold Cup, Trawlerman versus Scandinavia. One of the best races has been seen at Ascot for many a year. 1.5 seconds and 9 lengths back to the rest. We're not going to focus on them. Instead, we'll look at the big two in the race. Starting with Trawlerman. He was trying to overcome a 20-year statistic, trying to be the first horse since Yates in 2006 to win this race first time out, and he certainly went out on his sword. Although the overall time was 3.5 seconds slower than last year, Trawlerman's time was still enough to have won 8 of the last 10 renewals, and at halfway he was just 1.5 seconds off his 2025 pace. He gave it everything, and we can prove that with his stride frequency. In the final furlong last year, his stride frequency recorded an average of 2.18 per second. This year it was 2.25. He was trying harder. Fitness may be told, but if we take the assumption that Trawlerman ran to his best at least for 19.5 of the 20 furlongs, then how good is Scandinavia? The answer is exceptional. When you look at the data, there are minimal differences between the two, but the late speed is the key. Best late speed in the field, best final 3 furlong splits from Scandinavia. He may have only won by 0.03 seconds, but it took an exceptional performance to beat a horse who's never finished outside of the first 3 over 2 miles at Ascot, and whose record in the Gold Cup currently stands at 2.12. Scandinavia gave it everything, but he is the perfect stayer when you look at the statistics. A long stride, plenty of stamina, a great attitude, and most importantly, he relaxes. We measure the stride frequency furlong per furlong throughout the race. He got his as low as 2.03 strides per second. That's the lowest minimum stride frequency in the field. We know then that he can conserve energy, and then when he gets to those final 4 furlongs and Ryan Moore asked him for the effort, he was the fastest horse at the finish. There's a real sense from this data that Trawlerman is a superstar stayer, but the stayer's crown may have just changed hands.
Thanks to Adam Mills. Out and about again now with Lisa Tan. Thank you to Lisa. Really enjoyed her contributions this week, as always, and more tomorrow, because we will be bringing you a podcast tomorrow, Saturday. And aren't I lucky to be between two great Yateses, David and the 4-time Gold Cup winner immortalised by Charlie Langton over my right shoulder?
Indeed, yes. I never got used to hearing the name Yates on a racecourse. Even by the time he was winning his 4th Gold Cup, my ears pricked up every time the commentator called his name, because I never got used to expecting it. Anyway, I think I've really enjoyed this week, and I think it's worth pointing out one thing, and this isn't a dig at other racecourses or racecourse groups who have different economic models, and Ascot welcomes a lot of visitors, we know that, but this place is the absolute emblem of that old mantra of capitalism that you speculate to accumulate. Do you remember that? It's fallen out of favour, because now these days people just want things done on the cheap. Doesn't matter about the quality, just bring the cost down. And here they spend money, they spend money all over the place, not just for the knobs, but for everybody else too. Things are well finished, visually they look nice, thought goes into it, money is spent on it, and you know what? They get it back in spades. And it's as I say, that mantra has really fallen out of favour now, and I'm not getting all Corbynista about it, but they spend money here and they get it back, and it's as I say, different race courses and groups have different economic models. We all know that, but they do this really, really well. And you don't come here. Anyone who comes here, whatever enclosure they go in, and I'm sure someone will say, "Oh, well, my toilet door didn't lock, and everyone saw me on the bog." But 99.99% of people who come here will really enjoy the visual experience, the fact that the race people running the race course seem to give a stuff about whether they have a good time or not, and I applaud them for that.
And the other thing is, there were 69,000 people here yesterday, which was up 5% on the crowd. Now, I had a meeting yesterday on the course at 11:25, and the doors are well open by then, and the place is really starting to fill up. I wasn't in the Royal Enclosure, so it wasn't as though I was in some exclusive part of the track. I found a little nook and cranny just behind the grandstand, outdoor table, easy access to the bar. I managed to get all the people I was meeting a drink straight away, get a table, sit down, and it was very comfortable. And you can do that.
And one other thing along similar lines,
it wasn't in a particularly posh part of the track either.
One other thing along similar lines is that, like, if we go back to certainly when I first started working in racing professionally, like 1990 onwards, everyone talked about the bowler hats at Ascot, and how the attitude that, you know, you're lucky we let you in, how that was the prevalent way of dealing with people. That has changed so much. And, like, you know, talking about other racecourse and their economic models, blah blah blah, one thing that runs through the whole of racing, race courses, sport, entertainment generally, is that if you make people welcome with a smile on your face, and you're prepared to, you're happy to say yes to what they're after, you know, within reason obviously, then you're on a winner. And that is something that all race courses can learn from, because you come here and you get a good, not all races, but some race courses can learn from, because you come here and you get a good customer experience.
Yeah, and I had a friend who was here yesterday. Funnily enough, I said to me just as we were leaving and on the way to the car park, somebody who works with racing sometimes, but is not in the inside racing, if you see what I mean, said couldn't believe how helpful and friendly everybody was. Walking down to one of the enclosures on the far end of the track, "Oh, madam, can I help you? Do you know where you're going? Let me show you." And actually walked her to where she needed to be.
Yesterday.
So, you know, and not with this trusted cane either.
Yeah, but that's not deemed a security issue, which I'm very pleased about. Yesterday, I had a friend over from Germany, the conformateur that I put on your head to take the head
These generally
shapes.
do come from Germany, don't they?
No, they come, well, the silk comes from France, but that's an English one.
No, a lot of the hats come from Germany.
Germany, France, and England. Yeah, that's an English one.
Yeah, this
might be Irish actually. But
originally, this is a Tress and Co. London.
Yes, it is. Yes, it's a very nice example. But a friend of mine.
Look, I got it from.
Yes, indeed. Well, it was a gift from me.
Silktoppers.com.
You're my You're my
Do I have
treasure.
to declare? Is it like an MP? I have to declare that it's a gift.
No, if Nigel Farage got away with that £5 million, I'm sure you can get away with a ropey old silk topper.
Hang on.
No, wait,
you told me it was the finest hat you'd ever purveyed.
It is. It's a very nice hat. But I had a friend over from Germany yesterday who very kindly arranged for my conformateurs to go to his man in Germany for refurbishment.
Yeah,
and he was in the grill just up there. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Is it the? I've forgotten. But I went up to a couple of racecourse employees and said, "I'm looking for this. Could you help me?" And they couldn't have been more helpful in directing me where I needed to go.
Bitte. Right. I'm getting the look. I'm getting the look from the executive producer. So we need to give you some winners for today.
Okay. Right.
Just a couple will do.
I'll throw. I'm going to throw 3 in. I think.
Oh yes, please.
Venetian Sun. I think will.
Okay.
I think she'll remain unbeaten at sprint trips in the Commonwealth Cup. I think Omni-Man's really interesting in the Duke of Edinburgh Stakes. I think that has all the hallmarks of a bit of a plot. Most of all, though, I'm expecting. I've got great expectations of a horse in the final race, the Palace of Holyrood House, and the top weight Dickensian.
Oh, very nice. I like that. See what you did there. Good. Let's hope it's not a case of Bleak House for you at the end of the day.
Hard times indeed.
Hard times, yes. Right. And I had a rather good little segment on this yesterday with Moonfall and Trawlerman running close. And anyway, whatever. No point dwelling on past glories. What's going to happen today? I like Joseph's Emit to win today in the hands of Ryan Moore. And in the Albany Stakes, I like Libertango to give George Bowie a third.
Okay, yeah. I've tipped Dark Issue in that. Who
I liked her at Goodwood.
Yeah, she won well at Goodwood. It was surprising that she was an 11-1 shot because a lot of Richard Hannon 2-year-olds would go to Goodwood and they'd be shorter than that. But we will see.
This will be administered if he does not come up to scratch. Thank you for watching the Nick Luck Daily Podcast, Day 4. We will be back to do it again tomorrow. It is going to be a beautiful day here at Ascot. You've been listening to Nick Luck Daily. Thanks for listening. This edition has been brought to you by Timeform, your trusted source for racing data and analysis, by Total Performance Data, the global leader in live horse racing data, and by FitzDares, laying some of the world's largest sporting wagers since 1882.